of our interest is creating jobs. As you do know that the white collar jobs are not enough to absorb the unemployment numbers in the country. So we have so many young people who are not employed, and so we cannot employ them only with the public service jobs. So we have to create jobs and do value addition in our raw materials. And therefore we are looking for indirect taxes as opposed to the direct taxes. So what am I saying? Indirect revenue streams than the direct revenue streams. So we believe that if you absorb the number of unemployed people, you're able to do value addition on your raw material, then you can export these raw materials out of the country. When there's value addition done, I love to give the example of maize, that when you sell a kilo of maize, and I love to break it down to that minute numbers, you start with a kilo. If you sell a kilo at 1,000, without any value addition, but if you do the value addition, you sell it of that maize grain, you sell it at 1,000. But if you do value addition of grinding and turning it into posho, you sell it at 4,500 a kilo. So there is just $1 back. Therefore, it's very, very important for us to first underscore that. But I just want to tell the Ugandans that we've protected the Ugandan investors over and above the FDI. To the extent that the FDI will have to pay more money, not even pay, to indicate the capital requirement is more than the one for the Ugandan. Ugandan will give $50,000 to show that this is actually their capital requirement for them to be getting land in the industrial park without having to pay anything on the land. But the foreign will have to have evidence that it actually has 150,000 US dollars. Okay? And why do we do this? Because we don't want to get briefcase companies. And I know that Ugandans are so irritated about issues of getting briefcase companies. Companies just come, they don't have money, they are also poor in their country, and then they come to our country and invest. So we're very cognizant of that fact. For that, we make sure that we do a saving, that you have to show evidence that you actually do have money to invest. But the land that we give to a Ugandan investor to promote and make sure that this Ugandan actually completes a factory is that after you've invested 50% of the money, that the project total money that you've showed us that you actually have, you only have to invest 30% of that money, and then you come and give you permission to go and mortgage that land.
To get more capital.
And we enlarging your lease tenure from 18 months development period. After you've done that 30%, you can take it to 49 years, so that the land is actually, in essence, it belongs to you. But when you finish building that project, and we're talking about Naman, so you finished in Naman, you finished in Jinja Industrial Park, Soroti Industrial Park, maybe Industrial Park, Rukungiri Industrial Park, Kisoro Industrial Park, Karamoja, Moroto Industrial Park. You finished up to 30%, have invested your money there. Then you can take this money to any commercial bank, and government of Uganda, in a way of supporting you, will actually give you the permission to mortgage that land. So for me, I want us to differentiate this. And we also make you to, the tax incentive there is that we know that you do not have the money to pay for plant and machinery. And you're going to buy your plant from India, you're going to buy your plant from Turkey, you're going to buy your plant and machinery from China. We do not ask you to pay for a tax on your plant and machinery. You're going to bring in your plant and machinery, your machine, you want to do a maize mill, you want to do textile, you want to build those charan. You want to buy those machines, the sewing machines. You do not have to pay any tax. You just have to indicate that your company is registered in Uganda, and this is what you're going to do, and so you import these products without paying taxes. We even go further to ensure that the Ugandans are supported, that they when they train all the foreigners, FDI, when they train our citizens, there is something called tax deductible. So we will deduct that for training, that you actually spend time and you train. So at the time of paying VAT, so let's say that your total VAT is 50 million, but you have also spent on training. We will deduct from that 50 million the amount of money that you will have spent on training. So we deduct that. So it is also training and tax deductible. But you will not be able to know and benefit from this if your business is not formalized. You will not benefit from this if you do not keep records. So it all boils down to record keeping. If you're doing, for instance, you're in the hospitality industry, you've gone and you're buying supplies for your hotel. You're going to buy beef, let's say. If the person who is selling for you the beef has not given you an IFRS, because there is a VAT component there, he has not given you an IFRS receipt, then that means that you will not be able, you'll be able to pay that VAT. You'll be paid to him, he will not declare it to URA,
To come back to
it
you.
will come back to you. And yet, if you're very smart, you have actually made sure that whoever you've bought your supplies
Is
from
onboarded.
is onboarded and has paid the taxes. Then you have this incentive in your company because you're manufacturing, you deduct it and you don't have to pay that tax. So you have to file on time, and because if you're a default, and then it becomes a big problem. But I want us to expand on this point, because you see, our tax base and the taxpayers' base is narrow, because we only have like 1 million people who pay out of the ones who are registered. They're like 3 million, and then but the ones
Active
who pay,
ones.
yes, the active ones will only be 1 million. So that means that there are a particular group of people who are paying taxes on behalf of the others. So we have to make sure that we encourage this spirit, because there is a benefit for you down the line, not only for your company to be able to benefit from these incentives, but also for you to be able to make sure that you don't get cheated by your employers or and the people at the workplace. So we have different categories of incentives that we give to our people. Like now, the domestic investors in the industrial park. If you have gone and put your factory, you've seen on that road going to Matuga. There are just very many factories there.
And they walked in very fast. I was like, what is
And
going
everyone
on?
decided to go and put their factories in the swamp. Those ones did not get in 1 cent. Yes, because we want you to be in the industrial park.
Okay.
Because it becomes difficult for you to be incentivized because you're outside. For instance, we are now giving electricity of 5 cents to factories, but we are happy to give them in the ones who are in industrial
What
park.
happens to those in the private industrial parks? Like the ones in Matuga? For
We
them,
are
they invest
signed
in
with them.
themselves.
So if they come to government and they sign an MOU with the Uganda Investment Authority, and then they get recognized and they are following the terms, because why we're doing this is we want to see that through industrialization there's dividends to the citizens of the country and to the government, and also to you, the investor. It's why it becomes very difficult for me to be able to send electricity in different corners and say that I'm going to put it at 5 cents. So it is better that in the industrial park, as an industrial park developer, you're entitled to a 10-year tax exemption for domestic investors for leasing or renting an industrial park or in a free zone area. And the maximum capital requirement for this is $10 million.
10.
Yes, $10 million. No, because for you to be a developer, I say you're shaking your head. For you to be a developer, you have to be a bourgeoisie. Meaning that you're the one who actually has the money
Money bags.
to build and develop an industrial park.
And then others can leverage on you to run.
Exactly. But like Morrison did mention to you, we're the ones who will be the one to provide the electricity and the road infrastructure in those industrial park and water and sewage. We give domestic water is like at 4,500.
Those in the industrial park.
No, this is for those in your home.
Okay. Domestic. Yeah.
If you want water in your home. But see the incentive we give to someone who is going to do value addition. Who are you doing your value addition on gin, in alcohol? Okay? You benefit from this. Why I'm saying this is because I know so many people actually to making processing alcohol. So I want to tell them that actually they also have these incentives. But for you to be able to get that incentive, you must be formalized. We don't deal with informal businesses. So we're talking about formalization of businesses. This is very, very key. And then you're able to get for your water, instead of paying 4,500 per cubic meter, you're going to have to pay 2,500, less price than the person who is paying at home.